Hello everybody, thank you for taking time. I'm Kaspar, and guys back there, thanks. And I'll take 20 minutes about e-residency, and if you have any questions, then we have some few more minutes to discuss those. Can you raise your hand if you have heard of e-residency before? Right, okay, so you know the basics. We can concentrate them on the development side. What can you do with it? What other startups are doing with e-residency? And perhaps this helps you further. I will also skip this background story just a bit because for you, guess it's not so important. But just to understand that e-residence is based on the last 15 years of development in Estonia, so we use our e-residency cards for voting, for example, tax declarations, company establishment, everything. And the whole society is rather digital in Estonia in that sense. And e-residency, we just opened these gates with the project, let's have 10 million e-residents by 2025. It was 1.5 years ago. And this was like government startup in the sense that we didn't exactly know to whom we are going to do it, but we saw the potential behind that. Within first day, we received over 4,000 subscribers who wanted to become e-residents, and that really gave the government a real push actually to make it more professional, to hire a team, and to make e-residency happen. So our Prime Minister Taavi Rõivas gave us budget, gave us team, and we started to run this. Yeah, the e-residents from Japanese Prime Minister to Kai Kawasaki. Today over 10,000 e-residents, and we can go through why they become e-residents. So the basics of e-residency is then that you have this digital identity, what Estonia as a government gives to you. So it's first government issued digital identity, which everybody can get. And because it's government issued, it's so strong that it's the same as if you use authentication, it's the same as we being here physically. And the digital signature is the same as signature on paper. Because it's so strong, you can start offering your services online, which you couldn't do before. To become e-resident, you apply online, you pay 100 euros. You have this one face-to-face meeting with Estonian official. You give fingerprints, you identify yourself with passport, and then you receive the e-residency card, which soon will be also mobile ID. So if you're developing mobile games, you can consider that you can authenticate e-residents via mobile phone also. There are two main business cases for e-residency. The first real reason is that 60% of e-residents become e-residents to run their companies through Estonia. So they're mainly from outside the EU. They are usually from Asia, in India, in Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, because of some hassles internally. Perhaps sometimes you don't have access to service and tools. Also, when you consider tools like payment providers like Stripes or PayPals, or even if you're considering games, then like Google merchant accounts, for example. In many countries, it's not accessible. So through e-residency, they establish company, then they establish bank account, get some payment provider, and run their company's location independently. And obviously, that's a huge thing. Like, not only that you get access to the banks and services, but actually to have this location independent way you run your company. You don't need to be in Estonia to do that. And that's why it's very popular. And we are not exactly there yet as a government. For bank account, you need to physically visit Estonia to do that. After 4 months, we have changed the regulation that you can open bank account also online via e-residency. So the business case is that if Aravind now is doing business via e-residency, then still he used to usually pay taxes in Estonia, in India, but Estonia just gets more tax revenue from the service providers who offer services to e-residents. But not going too deep into that. What's more interesting to you is how, as a service provider, you can benefit out of this, and I'll give you some examples. FinTech. Just yesterday came from Money 2020 conference. It's the biggest European conference about fintech. And I gave a speech there for fintech companies like payment providers or credit card providers online like Holvi. And the case there is that if you want to offer your service internationally, then for know your customer reasons, KYC, you need to answer, you need to know about their passports, electricity bills, etc. Sometimes you need to have physical meetings with those people. So for you, if you're a fintech company, to scale internationally, it takes a huge amount of time, sometimes even 10 to 15 years. With e-residency, you do the PIN1 authentication integration with e-residency, the API is there. You can just allow all e-residents to access your service. So if you're, for example, Holvi from Finland and you offer credit cards online, then today Holvi needs to go to each market and apply for local regulations. After the integration, they can say to person from India, person from Nigeria, if you want to use Holvi as a service, become e-resident of Estonia, establish Estonian company, and through that Estonian company, you can get access to Holvi. And this is for them 15 or 10 years, the time what they say, and that's why it's very powerful for them. Then you are working with Nasdaq. Nasdaq is another example how you can actually create new services on top of e-residency. Nasdaq will have soon online shareholder meetings and votings. So if you buy, like, let's say, Microsoft shares, you log in using e-residency, and then you can vote on Microsoft shareholder meetings, for example. Why Nasdaq is doing that is that first time government issues digital identity to everybody, and because it's so strong authentication, they can move their physical services to digital channels, and they don't need to have physical shareholder meetings anymore. Once Nasdaq Estonia develops it and it works out, they will scale it internationally, so you can be part of shareholder meetings everywhere internationally. Stamper is one of the blockchain services. Blockchain is very popular at the moment who wants integrations with e-residency. Stamper is example of how you can stamp your emails, digital contracts, whatever, on internet, on blockchain using e-residency. This means that if in courts you want to prove that those pictures belong to you or this contract is legit, then because of e-residency, because of digital identity, those contracts are part of our legislative system, and they matter. Otherwise, they are like random blockchain contracts, and you can't prove that this was you who made this contract. E-residency gives the face on all the blockchain services. For example, BitNation has done the contract, and many Ethereum people at the moment are developing something. So if you want to know more about blockchain, you can ask that later also. But I guess not many games are today on blockchain, so that doesn't matter to you. International organizations, bit more boring case for you, I guess. But if you have a huge organization, then digitalization enables, like, really lowers your costs, digital signing and authentication. And International Maritime Organization, for example, is considering having online certificates instead of paper-based. So those are some of the main examples. For you, I guess if you're considering some games which you really need to know who the other person is, I don't know, perhaps it's some gambling game. Perhaps you need to authenticate that the person is over 18. Perhaps you need to be sure where the person is from. One guy, for example, said that he offers a solution, a game for people, but only US people can't access that game. So through e-residency, he eliminated the US part because you can be sure that the person where is from also. This is one option, and the other option is then for you, I guess, the case here that if you're a business and you're struggling in your own country to run that, to administrate that, or if you're traveling, if you're more like, let's say, digital nomad kind of person, then e-residency really helps you to run those companies wherever you are and with very low costs. And you don't need to hire local directors in any country, and you can run your company yourself. And that will be, I guess it's even today, but after a few months, it will be the most and the best business environment to run your location-independent company in the world. And as a government, we are working hard to make it even better. We want to automate all your taxation. You don't need to even declare taxes soon, and everything else. For example, with Uber at the moment, we are doing integration so that as a Uber driver, you don't need to declare taxes. and we are going to add different services on top of that. So Estonia is a nice place to consider in that sense if you want to run a company, or if your friends know that they are struggling in their own countries. Some statistics. We haven't started marketing yet as this thing. Once we change the legislation and we are opening up by the end of this year over 200 locations where you can become e-resident, then we start doing some marketing. And for us, there are kind of no limits. As a government, we are losing borders totally. Although there are 1 million people in Estonia, we see that there are no reasons why we shouldn't have hundreds of million people who are running companies through Estonia. Because if there is a best business environment, you're not going to the second best, you choose the best. And as a government, if you start acting like a startup, then there are no limitations either. And that's why it's very powerful in economy-wise also, because Estonia can become a lot bigger country than it is today. This is statistics, how many companies have been established by e-residents. So at the moment, you need to travel to Estonia to open bank account, and once we lose that, then it will skyrocket. But last month, 91 new companies were established by e-residents already. So it's nice to see the progress here also. So yeah, more information on eresident.gov.de. You can find out. Yeah, the Twitter and my name if you have more questions. Thank you. Do you have any questions before we leave? Yep.
Can you give more information about this face-to-face meeting?
Yeah. So the meeting is that you're going first online. If interconnection here was very bad before, but let's try. eresident.gov.de, you click apply to e-residency. You fill the online application form, some personal information, address, etc. You upload your passport photocopy, and then you choose here, pickup location. Today there are 39 different embassies internationally, but by the end of the year we are adding then over a few hundred. So we will be basically in every country. Once you have submit that, you pay 100 euros, and then it takes approximately 10 days for police to do a background check of you. If nothing negative is found, you'll receive an email that well done, come and pick up your card. And then you're going to the embassy, and then you need to take your passport, and the embassy person is checking whether this is you and whether the application is the same. If this matches, then you give fingerprints. Then it's checked whether this is your first digital identity, that you don't make several ones. And if this is correct, then you receive the smart card, and it starts working after an hour or so. Yeah. Oh, sorry, here was the second. Yeah, it's good. Revoked. Yeah, if you do something bad, then definitely banks can give us information and it will be revoked. But your digital name will remain. So my name is 38712289727. So, and this name remains, but just certificate is not active anymore. And it's valid for 3 years. I haven't actually thought why it should end after 3 years. I think we should make it longer. And I haven't thought what you need to do then after it's expired. Yeah, because the time is not there yet. Most probably, today you would need to visit the office again, the embassy, but it seems a huge amount of trouble, so perhaps we can do it somehow via internet. We need to think that. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, easy code. Yes, it's exactly. The EasyCo code is, you can't make even difference whether it's e-residents or residents. True, you can't travel with it. It's just for, it doesn't have a picture on it. That's one the differentiation. I'll see if I have one example card here. So You don't have a picture in it, you can just use for authentication and digital signing. No, but this is one application what like private sector together with public sector can develop. Once you're EU-resident, for example, we organized last summer a hackathon, EU-residency hackathon on Wormsey Island. That was pretty cool, by the way. Courage 48. And there, the winner idea was Insta Visa. So the hackathon was on one of the Estonian islands. 48 hours, people thought new ideas on top of e-residency. And the winner was Insta Visa, which enabled you to apply visa much faster once you're e-resident, because we know your passport information, we have checked you, all this process should be easier. We haven't implemented that as a government side yet, but in theory, once you have the digital identity, we should at least make it easier. So today it's nothing related to physical world, but we just need to add applications on top of that. As I have a quite small team which I'm running. I have a team of 7 members, so at the moment we're really concentrating on location independent business so that you don't need to travel at all. You can stay in your home country and run your company there. Yep.
Does it have an extra advantage for business?
Yeah, directly not, but if you have a company, then obviously Estonia can trust you more, and you can get the permit more easily, but officially it doesn't give you a residence permit.
I'm just curious, this is huge in scope and a competitive advantage for Estonia. Are any other countries thinking of doing the same?
Yeah, good question. So when it comes not to digital identity, when it comes to our main product, which is the location independent business environment, then you may have now all heard about Stripe Atlas. US company, payment provider Stripe launched a competitor product that you don't need to visit US, and you can do Delaware company, Silicon Valley bank account, you get Stripe account, and PwC helps you in all accountancy. This is one product. It is invitation mode only at the moment, but we see that all the other governments are doing that in cooperation. We know that Singapore is copying. We know Latvia, Lithuania, friends always doing that, but not so strong. Netherlands is doing that. So eventually in your pocket or on your phone or whatever way, you will have many different governments' digital identities, and they all compete to get you to pay their taxes or to get you to offer the services to you. And in that sense, the future will be brighter, that as today government is in kind of monopoly situation and all the services may suck and no one cares about that, then now governments need to start competing with each other, and the services need to be better in order to get any customers. Because if you would lose, if your neighbor country is better and everything can be served digitally, then you would go to your neighbor country and get their service, and eventually governments would lose all of their residents and citizens. And that's why I'm very positive that all the government services will become better also very soon, in your countries also.
This idea cannot be protected by trademark.
We tried to protect it with, we have trademarked it, but that doesn't mean anything. We tried to patent it, but they said that this wasn't innovation, that the e-residence itself, digital identity, is not innovation, and we can't patent it. But of course, in some way we see that this is like competition, but other ways, the more like the network effect, the network theory, the more players on network, the more value for everybody. So the more players on digital identity scheme, everybody eventually wins. And there can be Singapore is Asian hub, Estonia is EU hub, Delaware is US hub, and eventually you can play around on those digital environments everywhere very easily. Just choose the location you want to incorporate, log in and done. Everything is taken care. No, not yet. Approximately 1% of people who apply don't receive e-residency because of negative background check, but otherwise so far the quality has been rather good. But as it's so fairly new program, then of course we don't have much of like experience like about money laundering and all the negative cases. So definitely they may turn out that there will be. We as a government just are prepared of that, and we see that the risks of those are less than the opportunities which may arise. Yeah. Car license and regulations are quite tough at the moment in the EU, and e-residency doesn't help in that sense, no, because it's physically related. Where are you and where do you live? Yeah, definitely. So, nice trick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. None of them turned out to be bad. I can say that. By the way, we have live statistics. One of my buzzword or visionary thing is that transparency, so everything we do, all the project plan is up online, all our results are online. Everybody to share and give opinions. If this happens to load, then I can show you statistics. One more question before, and then I'll answer that question. Yep. Yeah, after 5 months or 4 months, yes, you can open online bank account also as a company. As a personal use case. Yeah, then it applies also, you can open it to personal. But it is a bit more difficult to get the personal account because usually companies registered in Estonia, hence they can prove that you need that. But if you don't live or visit Estonia, then banks are not so eager to give you this physical bank account. Mostly, it is just easier to get. If you have good reasons why they should give you, then you can get personal also, but otherwise it's easier to get a company account, yeah. So Russia, we have number 2, 883 e-residents from Russia, 9% of them, and approximately the statistics are the same when coming to the companies. So approximately 50 companies by Russians now.
What interests more for the applicants? I mean, for example, we have a lot of guys in the company from Finland.
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Finland in that sense is one of the exceptions because they have existing business ties with Estonia. They don't establish new companies, they just use for running their existing companies in Estonia. But most of them is not the hassle-free environment, which is cool, but to access the service, to get payment provider, to sell things on internet via credit cards, to have this credit card form, which for us may seem like normal thing, but most of the world people don't get those. They can sell stuff only on their local countries. Through e-residency, they can become entrepreneurs and run their companies internationally and sell their things internationally. And this is the main reason. Not to get the bank account, to get credit card form and to sell through that internationally. Thank you, my time is up.
Thanks.